Hey everybody, Wisdom here. It is a little after 3 a.m. I guess it's now Wednesday, December 11th. Personally, I would like to be going into Iron Jaw Gulch right now. That said, I've got a lot of characters I've kept, or attempted to keep at level 1 so we can kind of do a clean sweep introduction on them. Obviously now that the recording method seems to be ironed out and everything, I can kind of get back in the swing on, doing that as characters are released, hopefully. That is once everything is caught up to some degree. That said, where we left off on the introductions, I believe we did Blast Zone and Dark Blast Zone. Washbuckler, Dark Washbuckler, then Ninja Stealth Elf, Dark Ninja Stealth Elf. My idea on the introductions is essentially any console starter pack outside of the Dark Edition, you're going to have Blast Zone, Washbuckler, Stealth Elf. Since I have the Dark Edition, I just kind of followed each one up. It made sense to me. What I'm going to do now, obviously, going from that, we're done with our Wii U console starter pack. Have two characters left from the Dark Edition, which would be Dark Spyro, Dark Slobbertooth. What I'm going to do is follow suit. We'll just kind of pretend like the standard console edition had 5 characters as well. So we'll introduce Mega Ram Spyro here, then Dark Spyro, or I prefer to call him Dark Mega Ram Spyro. Then we'll do Slobbertooth, then Dark Slobbertooth. And then I'm actually going to go into the 3DS starter pack. Then I think we'll end that one with Free Ranger. Then I'll use that as our segue into the legendary characters. Then I believe we're going to do Nitro Magna Charge and Enchanted Hoot Loop. That'll lead us into Hoot Loop, which I will then use to go into the rest of the swappers. Then we'll get into the Newlanders, then probably our Series 2, then Series 3. So not going to spend a lot of time talking about that. That is the definitive plan. I've thought about it a lot. I was set on it. We're going to go ahead and back out of here. This is Spyro. I just, this brand new recording session stuck him on. I went ahead and ran up here, let him get that little gem that's worth 50. If you note, he can fly. That's because I bought Flight for him, just to get him around a little bit quicker. You'll also notice nighttime. My apologies about that. That's kind of something that happened after Chapter 5. The good news is everything, is just the same. We get a lot more money, everything along functional regards. What I'll do will showcase, again, the big development and the reason I went to Chapter 5, or at least Chapter 4, and went straight into the battle with Evil-Eyes Gunships. I was really hoping that, like, the solo survival deal could take the place of, say, a heroic challenge, which we don't have in Swap Force. One, it took quite a bit of time. Granted, box stock every time. I realized if you had them upgraded, it would go a lot faster. If you play them, you get a little quicker. I was looking for something, a minute and a half to 4 minutes. You want to keep the base introductions short outside of this one. Trust me, the others I'm going to go pretty quick on. It just wouldn't work well. The other thing, the damage is really hard to keep track of when you're frantically running around, and it honestly works better to do that, in my opinion. His primary attack, which is the Y button, 42. That's pretty significant damage in my opinion, for the primary attack. Secondary attack is, of course, the charge. Deal 22. Let's start right here in this corner. I'm going to try not to hit any dummies, which is hard because we can't see them. It doesn't get much of a run. We went basically from where you see those magic colored, the purple flowers, to right before this statue. So that of course gets upgraded as we go with Mega Ram Spyro. You'll note he's actually level 4. He has done quite a bit of battling for us. His base stats, max health would actually be 280. Okay, that's the other thing skewing it. Wednesdays, this tree popped up after we beat Chapter 5. It was like double XP Sunday, if you recall. I think I recorded something Sunday, or late Saturday night for me. Wednesdays, you apparently get plus 30 max health, so he's technically like 364 right now. Base stat, though, 280 on the health. That's what we want to focus on. Speed 50, which is actually pretty quick. at least in terms of this game. Armor 18, critical hit 6, elemental power 25. Of course, that's your base stat. He's 32 right now. What we will do now, come in here to Skylander. We're going to take a look at the stats. My apologies for not having you here. Again, with the Wii U, you've got the gamepad really cool, and I mean, it shows me the stats all the time. So, there's your shot of him. He is Mega Ram Spyro. We've played around with him for about an hour, but that's basically everything I said there. Again, 280 was his base health. At level 4, he'd be sitting at 364 with a plus 30. As you note here, since you can see him, no hat. It's just a plus 30 max health on Wednesday. We'll back out of here. I'm going to look at upgrades now. You should know these very well, with the exception of the Wow Pow. Why, you say? He had a Wow Pow in Giants. It's a brand new and different Wow Pow. So, base attack that I showcased to you was Flame Ball. Press Y to breathe balls of fire at your enemies. That one was doing 42 damage. Charge did 22 damage for us. Press and hold A to lower your horns and charge forward, knocking over anything on your way. First purchase upgrade, long range race. Flame Ball attacks travel farther. That's a very nice upgrade. Second purchase upgrade, which I already bought, just it's one of these things, you know, I like to showcase the paths. I document the damage, or at least I'm doing that behind the scenes this time. Each time it is somewhat painstaking. It's going to be worth it in the end. I have some cool stuff coming there. The flight doesn't do any damage to document, and quite frankly, it just gets me around this freaking Woodboro place a lot faster. So, chalk that one up to me. Sorry if anyone wanted to see it. Did not miss much. Sprint Charge. This upgrades his secondary attack. Can perform charge attack for increased distance. And lastly, final purchased upgrade before you select a path, triple flame balls. Shoot 3 flame balls at once. Sounds minor, it basically just broadens your scope of attack with that primary one, which is nice. Now, you're at the point you should know these by heart if you've been playing Skylanders. Quite a few Spyros out there. Series 1, Series 2, now Mega Ram Spyro, and Series 3 we've got Dark Spyro from the 3DS and SSA, we've got Legendary Spyro from SSA, and now we've got Dark Spyro yet again, who I will probably, for the sake of not confusing anyone, continue to personally refer to him as Dark Mega Ram Spyro. I just like to distinguish him. Again, with Dark Stealth Elf, it's not necessarily a big deal the ninja's not in there, but with Dark Spyro being called Dark Spyro in this game, we have Dark Spyro from SSA. You could get confused. I mean, the WoW Pow will distinguish it, but I mean, you know, who's to say when you're sitting there playing the game that people are going to be able to pick them apart? So that's personal preference there for me. His primary path, though, and the one that I personally think I prefer, this works great in battle mode if anyone's interested in that stuff. My nephew is very proficient with Sheepburner Spyro. It begins with Fire Shield. A Fire Shield appears when using the Flame Ball attack. Sounds insignificant, pays pretty big dividends. Exploding Fire Blast. Flame Balls do extra damage, and the middle one explodes, again, more damage there. And lastly, the Daybringer Flame. You hear about this if you follow along in the novels. Hold Y to charge up Flame Ball attacks for maximum damage. If that's not your thing, or say you've taken Series 1, Dark, Legendary, and Series 2 Spyro all down that one, you're ready to venture out a little bit, you can take the Blitz Spyro path. I've done this with a few. It works well. It's really personal preference what you prefer. It begins with Stun Charge. Enemies hit by a charge attack become stunned. And we've got Comet Dash. Charge attack does increased damage. And lastly, this one looks really cool when you do it. Obviously, it coincides well with the figure. That's kind of, in my opinion, what's showcased. Ibex Wrath Charge. Charge longer and to do extra damage. My thoughts are, Mega Ram Spyro is going to go down Ibex Wrath path, and then I'm going to take Dark Spyro down Sheepburner. So, and when I say dark, I'm of course referring to Dark Mega Ram Spyro or the Blue Base Spyro, Series 3, whatever you need to call him, the guy from the Dark Edition starter pack, essentially. Now, Soul Gem, this has been around since SSA. Spyro's Earthbound. Don't see a lot of people use it. It does come in handy every once in a while, or if you just want to use it. This power gives Spyro's Spyro a new flight attack, his only flight attack really, unless you consider Flame for standard. Press A while flying to dive bomb. Simple as that. Now, what we get this time, kind of interesting little concept here. This is the brand new WoW Pal. You know, if people say, hey, I don't want to throw my money away, I've got my Series 2 Spyro, he's already got a WoW Pal, I don't need the special pose, what have you, whatever your logic is, the main reason, barring, you know, that you're not a fan of Spyro, you don't like the repos, in game, this is what you would get him for. It is his new WoW Pal. It's called Head Start. Summon a magic worm ally at the end of your charge and send it after your enemies. At E3, after hours in the Activision booth, some of the folks that were invited there, actually pretty much everyone, was running around, you know, filming gameplay frantically, doing things like that. I was the guy that was just talking to the developers. One of the things that I would hear in the background, it was just everyone, oh, that's Spyro Soul, you know, just going crazy about it. I think I saw it on one of like the Xbox versions or something, but it should be interesting to see. Let's see here. That is it. This is more traditional, you know, the swappers. Kind of complicated. You got the top and the bottom soul gems on both. It's not the same structure we're used to. This is good old primary, secondary, tertiary stuff. It's right up my alley. It's what I've known for 2 generations of Skylanders games now, so it's good to be back in familiar territory. Albeit with the gamepad now, but you know, I'm sort of getting the feel for that. Not a big deal. We'll back out of here and let's just go ahead and take a look at his quests. Pretty much anything with the trophy standard fare, as is that 6th one with the magic symbol. Defeat 1,000 enemies, eat 15 pieces of fruit, complete a non-story mode level with full health. I have to wonder, I may experiment with this, but say you go into like a bonus mission or something, you know, solo survival, I'll have to see which one of those registers. Conceivably, I mean, you could just sit there, like say you're a ninja stealth elf and you had her soul gem Sylvan regeneration, you could let her regenerate health, say she was almost dead. There could be one like Chompy left running around, you could just like pace yourself as she refilled her health meter and conceivably do that. I'm going to investigate that. You could possibly do it, you know, with food items if there's one there. Might be some magic come into play there. True Gladiator 10 PvP matches. My nephew and I will probably get that taken care of at some point. He's a big fan of Spyro. Totally maxed out. I am a big fan of this one being added just because it encourages you. If you hated Spyro, if you're not interested in it, whatever, it encourages you to actually play the character, get the upgrades, and then see if you really don't like him or if you're like, wow, you know, that WoW Pal was worth all this trouble. Something along those lines. Elementalist he's almost there. Costs 7,500 elemental damage. Now the special ones really are these last 3. I realize that, you know, 6th one is magic specific, but every character has that 7,500 damage deal. Puzzle power. There's just one of them? Plus a laser puzzle beam. Okay, that'll be a cakewalk. Assuming we can find that laser puzzle deal, but shouldn't be too bad. Then we got Mage Rivalry. Defeat a total of 25 ranged Cyclops. I don't think I've even seen that enemy yet. And then his specific quest, Full Charge. Again, this would work really well down Ibex Raft Path. Collect 3 gold, eat 1 food item, and defeat 2 enemies in 1 sprint charge. Basically, you just have to think about it and line it up, so nothing too crazy there. That is that. I mean, that's literally all there is to Mega Ram Spyro. All fired up as a slogan. You should know the backstory. Going to come in next, introduce Dark Spyro, or again, as I prefer to call him, Dark Mega Ram Spyro. Basically going to be the exact same video. My apologies there, but like I said, you know, there's liable to be, or some people might be interested in Mega Ram Spyro. There's going to be a lot of people say, hey, I want to see the video on Dark Spyro from Swap Force, see if he's got the same stats, what he looks like, yada yada. So that's my thoughts there. It is a bit redundant. That's why I'm, after this one, I promise you, which this one's relatively quick by my standards, but I'm looking to maybe have them 10 to 12 minutes, kind of depends how long I ramble or am in awe of the upgrades or something like that. Like I said, my apologies on the non-heroic challenge thing. The solo survival deal, if I find a short one, may do it. It's just something that would take a lot of time. I don't think I'm going to drop frames with this new device. Hasn't happened yet, but you know, it's just something I'd rather be safe than sorry, be efficient, actually get into gameplay for you. So we'll leave it at that. This is Mega Ram Spyro. Like I said, stay tuned for Dark Spyro. You can follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook, circle me on Google+, whichever you prefer. Make sure to check out the blog, oneofweezem.com. I'm going to have a ton of information there. Like I said, all the while behind the scenes, little did you know I've been documenting all kinds of statistical information from Swap Force. Probably really the only person doing a playthrough that actually cares enough to actually do that. And I don't know if anyone's noticed over the years, but I'm pretty analytical on certain things, so if I take the time to do something, it's going to be done right and in painstakingly excruciating captive moments of every little aspect. So stay tuned for that. Not going to be for everybody, but I think some of you hardcore people will appreciate it. Casual fans even, you know, I think you kind of get to look at something along these lines. I think it'll be beneficial to anyone looking for the information. So won't speak on that too much for now, but just know it is coming. I am working on it, so I will leave it at that. Like I said, Dark Spyro coming up next. Like I said, this will kind of be my explanation of what's going on now. I feel good about what I've decided. Everything seems to be going well, finally. Good things come to those who wait or those who don't give up. I don't know, but so far so good. I'm going to leave it at that. But like I said, probably look for these introduction videos to be like 10-12 minutes now, particularly on like our newer, I'm not newer, but established characters. Lava Barfaruptor, Super Gulp, the characters that we should, assuming you're tied in with the series, know. Not going to put as much of an emphasis on them. The newer characters, brand new Newlanders, new Swap Force guys, going to take some time there. Firecrackens, Hoot Loops, Rattleshake, the Legend, any special character we'll do a little more on. I think we've got everything ironed out. I think everyone will appreciate it, so that's kind of what we'll go in terms of that. That's it. I will quit rambling, and we will catch you back here next time when we introduce Dark Spyro.